So it's basically started now. So
Okay.
once
Yeah,
people pop in, it is what it is.
yeah, I see it.
So it's basically
Yeah, it's
started
a little
now.
bit
So
behind us too, but I'm about
yeah,
to get on.
pop in, it is what it is.
Hell, I just posted it. I'm trying to get up out of it so it can stop echoing. Yeah, but we in here.
It's basically started now. So. Yeah, I see it now. They telling me to turn the volume down. Yo, what's going on, people, man? Thank y'all for checking in, man. This is Between the Game Sports. And I got my guy with me, man. I called him up last week and told him what I was trying to do. He said, let's do it. So we made some things work, and now we're here. So I've been knowing this cat for about 13 years. Good dude. Uh, what can I say, man? I couldn't think of anybody else to kind of start this off with. And like I said, I've been knowing him for about 13 years. Last year was his first year as a varsity head coach. And so I'm going to introduce him. This is Sadale, everybody. What's going on, Coach?
Oh man, what's happening? You know, in the mix like that pot of grits. You know what I'm talking about?
Already, man. Already staying out the way, staying out of trouble, staying healthy, man.
Hey, I'm just being patient like a bear in hibernation. You know what I'm talking about? Staying out the way.
Already, man. So to kick this off, man, I just kind of want to jump into, give the folks a background or, your backstory of how you got to where you are now and becoming a head coach of the school that you're at. For those that don't know, he's the head coach at Lufkin High School out in East Texas. Not too many people know about it, but he's trying to put them boys on the map. So go on, give them a little backstory of what you are.
Yeah, this was my eighth. I just finished my 8th year here at Lufkin. So I've been here 8 years, 7 years. Previous 7 years, I was a boys assistant coach for basketball. I also do freshman football and assistant recruiting coordinator for football. So I do a lot of the grades. I deal with transcripts, core GPA, SAT, ACT, all that stuff. So I do that, and then I transitioned over to the girls' side this past year. The opportunity presented itself. A coach that's actually responsible for me being at Lufkin ended up leaving, and it was kind of open. So I jumped on it, and it's been a blast. So Lufkin, Texas, home of Dez Bryant. Reggie McNeil, Kiki Kuti, Javorsky Lane, Eric McCoy, all those big time names and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been here a minute.
Yeah, man, y'all got a hell of a history out there, man. I remember when I was in high school, I got to see Reggie McNeil play, and that was way back in the gap.
Yeah.
03, 04, or something like that. So with that being said, how did your experience working at the lower level prepare you into becoming a varsity coach?
I think it helped me develop, personal skills to where I can relate to the kids and in different ways, and also manage doing the coaching work at the same time. So it kind of helps me. Mostly, it kind of helps me relate to my assistants because I've been in their shoes, so I know going through, and I can relate to them as well as the kids. So, I think it helped prepare me a lot. I learned a lot. I was behind Coach McManus, who's the boys coach for 7 years. So, I picked up a lot from him, a lot from some of the football coaches as well. So I really just been soaking it up this whole time and able to put it out there.
Yeah, so I've been an assistant, coaching at the kind of like the junior college level, and I know that you know, being a head coach, you're only as good as your assistant coaches, man. So how good are your assistant coaches? You know, how much input do you allow them to put into like game plans and practice schedules and stuff like that?
They're good. I'm pretty much an open door. You know, if they have something they want to try, or if they see something, you know, that the other team is doing or that we're doing, you know, I'm open door. In game, out game, at practice, it don't matter. Middle of the night, you think of something, just let me know, and we can look at it. Um, but yeah, I like to give them, you know, confidence that so that they could come to me whenever they feel like they you know, need or want to. I don't want them to hold their tongue or you know, sit back and feel like they can't talk to me. So it'll be times during the game I sit down and just start talking to them. You know,
Yeah,
if they have a question or something like that during the game, I'll address it. I try, you know, I don't want to blow them off or anything like that. So I try to manage it that way, and I think it worked out for us this year.
yeah. So I looked you guys up, man. I didn't get a chance to make a schedule, man. You know, my health, and sometimes I just can't get out like that. But I think you guys went like 23-12 or something like that, and like
Yeah.
10-2 in district,
Hmm.
and you guys even got a playoff victory.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we did.
so just tell us about how the season went. Was it a blur? Was it everything that you expected? Even up describing up all the way up into the playoff victory.
Oh, roller coaster. Um,
Yeah.
it, no, but it turned out great. But it was a roller coaster. I think it went how exactly how, you know, God planned for it to go. It was a difference for them because they hadn't had, you know, they hadn't been under me before, so they had to get used to me. I had to get used to them. Um, they the girls had graduated, what you would call their go-to players for the most
Mhm.
part. So, you know, with the addition of having to get used to me, all of them had to get used to a different role when it came to contributions and things like that with the team. So it was a learning experience for everybody, and it started out rough. Like even when we were winning games, it was, you
Mhm.
know, it wasn't there because we wasn't really meshed as a team, even though we could go out there and beat, you know, some teams that were on the schedule. And you know, we kind of got hit with the injury bug. We got hit with the injury bug early. One of my post players, she got injured before the season. I was in football, and
Mhm.
she hurt her shoulder, and she had to have shoulder surgery, so she didn't get to play at all this year. Um, and then we had, you know, other injuries here and there throughout the season, and we just really had to, you know, buckle down. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, your picture went away,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but nah. So I mean, we had to learn each other. You know, like I said, they were all learning new spots and positions and getting used to playing big minutes on a big stage, and they had to get used to my expectations and you know, and how I coach. I had to adjust my coaching style for them a little bit because, like I said, I was on the boys' side, so you know, I had got advice from a lot of other coaches I had talked to before I took the job, and they were like, you know, coach them hard, coach them just like you would the boys. So I started out that way, but what they needed from me was different. They didn't necessarily need me to go, you know, go in and go hard on them every single day. They more so needed to learn that I cared about them. You know,
Mhm.
a lot of people ask me like, "What's the difference? You like the girls? You like the boys' side better? Like blah 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 blah." And or what's the big difference between the two? The biggest difference for me was on the boys' side. It's more so about respect. Like they
Mhm.
respect you, they play hard for you. With the girls' side, It's more so about them knowing you care about them, and then
Uh-huh.
they'll run through the brick wall for you. So, I adjusted it. And like I said, through talking through my assistants and talking to some of the girls, they started to open up more. I saw what they needed from me, and you know, I we had to come together as a unit with the girls, because it wasn't all peaches and cream between them, at the beginning, and it got to a point to where, towards the, I'd say, middle or beginning of district, where we really started to click and mesh, and I start to see them fight for each other instead of fighting each other, verbally
Mm-hmm.
arguing and stuff like that. And they start to have each other's back, and it just became fun. Um, and then we went 10-2 in district. Got second place. A lot of people didn't think we were gonna make the playoffs because, like I said, they lost their main go-to
Yeah,
players.
you gotta show them, man. You gotta show
Yeah, so and we just played hard. That's the one thing that this past year, my girls, they played hard, especially defensive end. That's what we were. That was our mainstay, was defense. Offensively, it was touch and go. It was rough at moments and stuff like that, but we was gonna defend. And so we had our first round matchup against Texas High, and wasn't expected to win that either. And we went in there and pulled it off, and actually played that game without my leading scorer.
Oh wow,
She
that's tough.
she she has a medical condition that kept her out of. She got it came up the last district game to where we could tell
Mm-hmm.
something wrong, and then so she missed the first round playoff game that we won. So it was it was great to see the girls pull together and fight for her. Like, they all had wrist tape with her number and her initials
Mm-hmm.
before the game. I didn't even know they were doing it. They came out, and I seen it. I'm look, I started smiling. And then she actually got to come to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And weird thing about that is my post player that had the shoulder injury I was telling you about, they twins. So
Oh
the
wow.
lead four that we were missing, and then the one that hurt her shoulder that was out, they're twins. And so they came to the game, and the girls just lit up, and it was kind of like a defining moment in our season, to where how hard the girls fought that whole game, and it just all came together, and we ended up winning. And like I said, we wasn't picked to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't think we were gonna win, and it kind of. I was thinking about it the other day, um, due to COVID-19, we're actually like the only ones that won a playoff game this year at Lufkin, like
Uh-huh.
the major team sport.
Oh, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. And so, what's really weird, um, for me, man, I spent most of my years coaching boys. Can you hear me? I don't know what's going on. I think he kind of froze. Hold on, give us a second. Hold on, hold on. Coach, you still there? Hold on, folks. Give us a second. Give us a second. We're having some issues. Man, if y'all can hear me, write in the comments section. Let me know y'all can still hear me. I don't know what's really going on. So, yo, can y'all hear me? I don't know. I think we lost Coach Lamb for a second. Let's see if we can get him back. All right, it's looking like we lost connection with Coach Lamb for a second. Let's see if we can get him back. I'm gonna send him another invite. Ooh, hold on. Man, if y'all still in here, man, whatever questions y'all got for Coach Lamb, just put them in the comments. As soon as he come back, we'll address it at some point, and we'll go from there. He had some issues, some technical difficulties with his computer situation, so he's restarting, and we'll be right back. But and for me, I named this Between the Game Sports because not too many people sees what goes on when the lights are off, when the crowd is gone, and the crowd is not cheering, and just kind of give you a insight of what your coaches and what players do from game to game. So I had some people ask me before, why did I name it Between the Game Sports? Excuse me, and that's just pretty much what it is. Just so y'all can get an insight of what your coaches and what your players do, outside of the field, outside of the court, give you a kind of insight of what they're doing overall. And it's crazy. For me, how I named it, what I named it, my business or my company, I was sitting in my garage one day, and I do a lot of sports training, basically basketball training for the most part. And so that's how I think he's back. That's how I was sitting in my garage, and I was trying to think of a name for training, and I'm listening to music, and there's a song by Lil Wayne, and it comes on, and he made a song about Kobe. I don't know how long ago this was, but he was the epitome of what really went on between the games as far as training and taking care of his body and stuff like that. So that song came on, and it just kind of hit me like off the rip. So that's why I named it what I named it, and it kind of goes with everything that goes outside of the game when the referees are not around, and the scorekeeper's not there and stuff like that. So that's what it is, man. I think coach is back, so let me try to get him back in. Yo, there we go.
Man, they ain't want me to win. They ain't want me to win.
Man, they ain't trying to let us be great. So
man, I'm back. I'm back in the mix.
We back in the mix, man. I see people, man, they out here commenting, man. Karen Baxter says she's so proud of you.
Yeah, that's my auntie. You know what I'm talking about?
Auntie's in the building. You know, our boy, man, from battling that Region 14 Bankhead, man. He's in the building, man. So
coach, you know what I'm talking about?
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dayton, Texas. You know, they in the building. I think he said we clogging, man.
He did. He did.
Hey man, they don't know, man. They don't know. They don't know about the Carlos Boozer out there being a straight wrecking ball, man.
Hey, I was telling you when it froze. I said I know who messing with our stream. It's the same ones that had us on flat out there in San Antonio.
Oh man, we trying to get to the hotel, man. Right by the hotel, we catch a flat, and I'm running down the highway, man, trying to get to the wind. The wind blowing strong and everything else, man.
We were out there talking about a sniper that took the side.
They just didn't know what they started, man. We came in there and straight dominated, man.
Yeah.
So what I was saying before we got interrupted was I was working with boys for the longest, man, and I was so skeptical about moving over to the girls as far as AAU. And just kind of hearing your story, how he was telling me about the girls getting used to you. And my first year doing AAU with girls, it was mind opening, man. It was like kind of like mind boggling actually. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know how to coach girls. I didn't know if I can yell at them. I didn't know if I can, like boys, man, is, you know, I kind of get into them and, you know, they get mad or whatever, but I didn't know as far as girls, how they would react to my personality. I'm really a hard coach, man. You know, I want what's best for all of you. You know, my take is just try to get the best out of you regardless, man. Whatever position you play. For me, when I coach, I don't care what position you play at your high school. I need you to learn every single position to be a basketball player, not just I'm a point guard. I don't need you to be a point guard. I need you to learn every single position. And so what I learned with girls, man, I actually I opened up a lot more with them. For boys, man, they kind of think they know everything sometimes, man, especially when they get into high school. Yeah. It's like, man, they can't tell me nothing, man. You ain't been there, this and that. And with girls, they want to learn.
Right.
They're open, and they're open to criticism and stuff like that. And only thing I struggle with girls is they couldn't think the play ahead, I guess you can say.
Right.
If a play was to say, I need you to go here, that's where they went.
Right. Oh yeah.
Instead of just adjusting, it's like, okay, if they overplaying, I can go back door. But the play says, coach, you can go here. And so I know
that's what I know
you probably struggle with that too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is one thing about girls is they gonna be literal. If you say go here, that's where they going. And that's something that, man, my girls will tell you. That was something I kept harping on them about. I was like, look, play basketball. Like, I don't need you to be like, if the play calls for you to come up to the top of the key to get the handoff and they overplaying it, slip back door. And that's part of what I was talking about before we got messed up is everything started to click and they started to do stuff like that, and they would come
play basketball.
Right. And they would come to the sideline and be excited, and you know, and that's what it's all about for me, is stuff like that. Just teaching them the game and watching them learn and grow and be able to just play basketball. But I take the same approach a lot like you, in the fact that, man, my point guard knew the point guard and the wing. My wings knew the point guard spot. My fours knew what the 5 was doing. My 5 knew what the 4 was doing. I had a few girls that could go 2 through 5. Because I'm like, I don't need you to be stuck in one position. I need you to know, and that's kind of something that I've always told my players, no matter if it's boys or girls, is like the more you know, the better off you'll be with me.
Yeah, the more valuable you are.
Right, because I take if you're a solidified point guard and your sub come in and she's doing good at the point guard spot, but I need you in for your defense. Oh, I'm gonna put you in, but you're not going to the point, so you better win.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
That was also something that that they had to get used to this year as well. Just my mentality about the stuff, about basketball, period. But it worked out.
Yeah. So, you got a playoff victory, and, for the people that don't know, and I was telling them earlier when you were off, I kind of named this my company Between the Game, because people don't really know what goes on between the games, from game to game, or practice to practice, or whatever it may be. So, let the people know what really goes on in your mind between the game, like how many hours you spend a week, like prepping and getting ready. I know you do dual duty with football, and then basketball is right back door. So let them know how many hours you're putting in as a coach and a teacher.
Man. it's really nonstop. Like, man, it's a lot of hours. Like, probably upwards around 70, 80 easy. And that's not including, like, if basketball actually is during the time frame of a lot of football recruiting, and like, junior days or sophomore days, or stuff like that, or it starts rolling into some of the camps that they have, or boys taking visits. And so I handle, a lot of the paperwork for that. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to learn how to do that. Former coach and player at Lufkin, Alton Dixon, he's the one that showed me. So, like, when I first got to Lufkin, my first 2 years, I was straight basketball. I was straight boys basketball assistant. I didn't do football. And then, so I was kind of responsible for, the basketball recruiting side. And so he taught me a lot of stuff. And then when he ended up leaving, that's when I stepped in to fill half of what he was doing. And that's to where we have it now. Coach Cam Davis is over recruiting coordinator, and I'm his assistant. So like I said before, I do the paperwork side, as far as grades, and if a kid needs an additional core class, the counselors that we have are awesome. They work with me. They flip them out of a elective and slide them into additional core class, and so I'm constantly doing stuff like that, whether we're in season basketball wise or not. So the hours stack up, man. Like, and that's not including taking kids home, going to pick them up early in the morning, because our athletic period is first period, and so so school starts at 8:05, but we'll start practice 6:45, 7 o'clock. What I'm saying? Something like that. So that's early hours, early. So it stretches out there. It stretches out. But I love it. I love to, I want our kids to be the best they can. And that's part of that's the main reason I didn't want to leave football. And so I didn't. So I still do freshman football, because I didn't want to leave I didn't want to lose that connection with the boys. And still be having to do the recruiting side of it too. And so it can stack up pretty high. But my main drive is something that I watch my mom do, which is, she handled me and my twin brother Terrell, he handled all our stuff as far as school as when it came to going to college. And he worked at Sam Houston for 20 plus years, financial aid's office, president's office, stuff like that. So she knew, but then you have other parents that didn't know what to do. And it was kind of detrimental to their kids in a way because, you know, some people that wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. So that's my mission, is try to help kids advance and do better in life. And if they want to go to college, I try to hook them up with as much as I can, knowledge and stuff like that. So no matter how the hours stack up, hell, I just keep pushing.
You got to keep grinding, man. It's something about the grind of being a coach that if you don't love it, I tell people all the time, you don't love it, man, you cannot do it.
Right.
Because at some point, you're going to sacrifice your personal life, whether it be with a significant other or, you know, a social life or whatever it is, man. Kids can kind of grow on you and just they keep you into it, and then you remember those days when you were a kid. It's like, man, I remember these coaches such and such, man, he spent so much time in me, and then now it's just kind of trickling down, and
right.
you become that person that you actually thought you never thought you would be. And again, you have to be a coach, and then you have to be a parent, and if you teach, you're a teacher and you're a mentor and all that other stuff, and it just all kind of coincides on what's going on. And so even with that being said, I'm gonna come back to that at some point. You know, speaking of mentors and stuff like that, you know, who were your biggest influences into coaching and into life in general, man? I know you have a few people.
Yeah, man, I got a list.
Already.
My influential people were my parents, my mom and dad.
I've met mom and dad, man.
Yeah,
good
man.
people.
Yeah, man, they great. They've been having my back since day one, obviously. But yeah, mom and dad, sister and brother, my grandparents across the board. Then he was my assistant coach my junior year, freshman through junior year at high school. Coach Jason Elliott, he played a big part as far as what I wanted to do. I saw it later down the line. Man, then like growing up in Huntsville, we had older guys that we would play against at the park and stuff like that. And they would have teams around, you know, the city of Huntsville and things of that nature. And they played a huge part. Marcus.
Shout out to the Ville, man.
Man, yeah. All day, Ville side.
Shout out to them,
like Marcus Cole, may he rest in peace. OG Tilly Boo off MLK. Big Ron Major, you know, Tiny O'Brien. Like we had a bunch of older guys that would, you know, play. You know, it'd be rough, but they would give us game. We knew they cared, and so they were real instrumental in the community, not just myself, but just in the community in general. But the main reason why I started coaching was my grandma. On my dad's side, she was a high school coach. She was a coach for 33 years, and in Kennard, that's where most of my family is from in the country.
Kennard, Texas, man.
Yeah, Kennard, Tadmo, Texas. And my grandma Billy Lamb, she was a coach, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was at Tyler Junior College for 2 years. Got my associates under general studies, and so coming out, it was April 20th, 2007 was when she passed. And so that's leading right into the end of that fourth and last semester at TJC. And me and Terrell were actually supposed to go to a small school in Iowa We were supposed to go on a trip because they were recruiting us because we were redshirted at TJC. And the coach wanted us, and grandma got sick. We ended up not being able to go. We tried to tell him, like we'll come, like we don't care what it looked like, but he was real big on wanting us to see the campus first. And so, long story short, that fell apart. But and I was just like, hooping ain't, because coming out of high school, our other grandma had passed in June before we started college, and so we didn't know basketball was the furthest thing from our mind. But it wasn't until my grandma Billy Lamb, her funeral, and like I said, she was a coach, and so at her funeral, former players and people that she taught over the years got up and they started, telling stories about how she gave them lessons that they still use to this day, and the memories and the impact that she had. And just sitting there in the funeral, I said to myself, that's what I want. Like I want to have that. That's what I want to do. And so up until that point, I had no clue what I was going to do. I had no idea what I was going to end up doing with myself. I didn't have a major, none of that. And so, that helped push me in that direction, because just seeing the impact and the positive stuff they had to say about my granny, I was like, that's what I want. And so that's when I got the SFA and we met, and
man,
I really only played, and I really only played with like 2, maybe 3 years, like with us just playing around. Then I start, getting into the coaching side. So I could play in short. I ain't played for real in probably about 8-9 years.
Man, it goes quickly, man. And so what was crazy about all that, I remember meeting you and your brother, man. We used to go, this is after I got done playing. I used to go into the HPE, man. And HPE was some battles, man.
And for y'all that's listening, that's my friends, this dude right here, one of the coldest dudes I've ever stepped on the floor with. No, what them youngsters say, no cap, no
gas, man.
Man, this is one of the coldest dudes I've ever hooped with, straight up.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It was crazy, man. I'm bringing it up, and I'm bringing it up now, man. I remember my high school coach, man. He didn't really put in the effort to let people see my talents and stuff like that. And I got the SFA. That's another story. But I remember just kind of going to HPE, man, and battling you and your brother. And I think Bankhead was there at the same time. And we were just hooping. And I remember one day, I think Terrell was like, man, I'm tired of holding you. I'm like, man, I'm tired of holding you. You know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, we got done playing 3-4 hours, and I think you was like, man, we finna go to the East Calf. I'm like, and he was like, you want to roll? And I was like, bet. And then after that, man, it was all love, man. We was always together, man, being on the stoop, man. We ain't gonna speak too much on that. And so traveling down to 59 in that region 14 and getting our butt kicked, man. But I remember when you took over the boys and the girls group for us club ball, and like we knew then that you had it in you to be a great coach. You kind of kept us under control when you were just coaching, not playing. When you were just coaching, man, you kind of you kept everybody level-headed, and we were a high-headed group. As we can say, I know those days when we were out there, they was probably like, man, here come SFA again.
Yeah.
Every time, here come SFA again. So it's just crazy, man. I seen your growth when I heard that you became a head coach, man. I called you right away.
Yeah.
And I was so proud. I'm a little older than y'all, but we all got love for each other, and it is what it is, man. And so
Right.
You speaking of your grandmother and your mother and your sister graduated SFA before us. I know academics was a big thing for your family.
Yeah.
And I know that you do I want to say a seminar or a class for
Right. Yeah.
far as like academics and stuff like that. And sometimes parents don't understand how academics and recruiting
Right.
goes together. And I think you do a seminar for all of East Texas, not just for your high school.
Yeah.
So tell us some things that parents don't always seem to understand about recruiting and academics and how they go hand in hand. Like you can't do one without the other.
Oh man, it's a constant grind. But yeah, like what I do is I call it a seminar. I don't know if that's technically the name of it, but I call it a seminar. So what I do is I get up in front of people and I talk to them about NCAA requirements and qualifications and how to be a qualifier. And reason being, it's not because I care about sports that deeply. It's because a lot of the kids care about sports, and that a lot of them, that's what drives them. And so I try to make them realize early that okay, you say you want to go, all the kids' dream is D1, the bigger schools, and I tell them, you want to go D1, but your grades don't match, and they don't really understand how much that can complicate things. And one of the hardest things about it is your transition year, which is your freshman year. In most majority of schools that you're taking, like for us, we have 5 periods throughout the day. And so for a freshman, you're taking 4 core classes and then athletics. And so with that being the transition year, a lot of the kids don't do well in those classes. And it's not because they're not trying, it's because they're trying to fit into high school. They trying to look, want to be cool, and they're not focusing on the academic side. And so they end up with C's and things of that nature, grades they shouldn't have. And so they put themselves in a hole early, and it comes back to bite them junior year when those coaches come in and they want to look at that transcript, and then they look at it and be like, whoo, I tell them all the time, like when I speak in front of crowds, I tell them like, I've literally had to sit there at a table with a kid and the coach look at the transcript and say, he say, we loved you, son, like we want you, but we can't do nothing with this transcript. And that's one of the that'll defeat a kid. But the reality of it is, if we gonna sit up there and praise a kid Tuesday, or basketball, volleyball wise and stuff like that, Tuesday and Friday, or football, we praising them on Friday nights. And every time they go out in the community, they hearing how many yards or points they had, and nobody's checking on the backside or see what them grades looking like. Then we doing the kid a disservice. And that's one of the things I try to help our community out here realize is that if we got together and pushed the academic side just as much as we push athletics, these kids will be better off, and be able to handle both things and not just focus in on one. But it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely it's a different challenge, but it's definitely one.
So yeah, the truth of the matter is, man, everybody can't go D1.
No.
It's very, very hard to get to a Division I level, even D2, or just to play college ball, period.
Right.
I remember getting to SFA and trying out and stuff like that. And I tell my kids all the time, I went to a small D1, SFA small D1.
Right.
But it was a full-time job. Like there wasn't no. Yeah, we got the chance to do other stuff, but you pretty much were with your teammates and with your coaches. Let's just say 18 hours of the 24 hours of the day.
Right.
And so if mentally as a freshman going in, if you're not ready for that, you're not going to make it. And that starts with in the classroom.
Right.
You have to take care of your classroom duties first. The basketball part is easy because that's what you love to do.
Right.
But you have to find a happy medium and understanding that my education comes first. I'm a student athlete, and I want kids to understand that the student comes 1st. You have to take care of your grades, and it goes back to middle school and stuff like that. I need parents to understand, to harp on, you're a student. If you don't pass your classes, you can't play. And as far as I know, that's around the country, not just Texas.
Yeah.
That's around the country. So being an SFA, man, we were with our coaches, study hall. Well, let me rewind. We went to classes, 8 o'clock in the morning, went to practice 12 to 2, back door and went to weights, get out of weights at 4 or 5 o'clock. Now you're trying to go to the cafeteria and eat. Now you back door and you're going to study hall. So that's a job, man. There's no in between, man. And trust me, kids that want to go to like places like Duke or North Carolina or UT and stuff like that, I can't imagine what those dudes go through. So it's crazy, man. And trying to get parents to understand that. And
then you with that, you're not even talking about the travel schedule. Got to go play across the country and then maintain.
And take your books with you.
Right. And that's the part. I think some kids have. It's two misconceptions that kids have. That is one. For whatever reason, they think when they get to the D1, it's all about just playing. Sport is first, class is second. And then two, which I speak from experience. A lot of kids look down on the lower levels, the D2s and JUCOs, and a lot of kids often, like ridiculously often, if they don't get the D1 scholarship or something like that, they'll say, well, I'm just going to go walk on at TJC. I'm going to go walk on at Kilgore. Man, me and Bankhead was on the phone for about an hour the other day, and we talked about this because he was at TJC. He got there before me and Reed did, but we left. We were there together, then we left together to come to SFA. And I made this statement to Bankhead, and this is my truth. The hoopers that we had at TJC, and the team, and then just the people that would come hoop in the gym at Tyler Junior College was better than the ones that was at SFA.
Man,
no lie. Like one of the first times I had seen a 360 windmill in person was at TJC. In between the legs was at TJC. Elbow in the rim hanging like Vince Carter was at TJC. First time I seen a 4.2, he ran like a 4.28, 4.340. Johnny Knox was at TJC. Like, it was hellified athletes there. A lot of cats were there for different reasons. May it be got in trouble, grades, or just want to stay close to home at first, or whatever it may be. But like, that's just I don't know why kids just think, oh, it's a community college, I'm just gonna go up there and walk on, man.
Man, I tell people all the time, some of the best dudes I ever played against were in junior college. I mean, these dudes. You remember when we played Kilgore and the boys was throwing lobs? them some of the best dudes I ever played against, because mainly it's because they don't have the grades, but these dudes are trying to get somewhere. They're not trying to stay at junior college. Them were some of the best dudes I've ever played against in my life, and I try to get kids to understand that JUCO is no joke, man.
Man, I tell kids all the time, man, it's sharks in that water. Like man, like I said, some of the best hoopers, some of the best hoopers I've ever played with was at JUCO. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was at TJC, um, Marcus Thornton was at
That
Q,
Kilgore. Mm-hmm.
and I seen him and my dog Tyrone Cole Scott. They going back and forth, and like one of the best. He's one of Tyrone's one of the best shooters I've ever been on the floor with. Um, Justin Johnson, that went to Iowa, man, ice water. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? D-Ray Simpson, Nate, man, it just across the board. Reggie Nelson, like man, it was some straight
Deep,
hoopers up there, man, straight up.
deep, man. You got some people, man, shouting you out. Cedric Collins,
Man, what's happening?
Lorenzo Rodriguez. They're saying what's up to you.
How everybody?
Isaiah Menifee, I think he says one of the realest coaches you can come by. Thanks for all you do and go over and beyond. So
Yeah,
I know, I
my
know that means a lot to you,
oh,
man.
yeah, man, it does, man, because you know you brought up uh, the hours, that I work on a week or could work. It's uncharted. You know what I'm saying? Like going back to that, like the kids know I got them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not to isolate myself because a lot of the other coaches have kids and wives at home. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to when I don't. So I'm able to do some stuff. Sometimes, like if a kid wants to go work out, it'd be 9:30 at night on a Saturday, and they text me. I'm not doing nothing. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm free, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. And then other issues if they got personal problems or something they want to talk about it. It's nothing for me to jump in the car and go by their house and pick them up, and we just sit in the vehicle and talk. Or if I hadn't seen one in a while or heard some stuff I don't like, they know I'm gonna pull up. I got
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. I got to look at you. I don't want to text. I don't want to talk on the phone. No, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a blessing though, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I appreciate all the love that I get shown, man. Because I ain't doing it for no glory. I ain't doing it
Mm-hmm.
for no fame or no nothing like that. Um, so I just appreciate it. Whenever somebody appreciates me, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. So that leads into my next question, and it basically is, what is your biggest joy that you get from coaching, and what do you hope your players learn from you, like overall, not just about basketball or football, just about life in general?
Well, my my biggest joy it ties into what I tell because I teach U.S. history too, and for those, yes, I actually know what I'm talking about. And actually, I passed the same test that all history teachers took, and I only took it once.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my outlook on that is the same. As far as basketball goes, is the same as I am in the classroom. To start off the school year, I tell my kids every time, I say, if the only thing you've learned from me when you leave this classroom is history, then I've done you no justice. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really taught you. And so same with basketball. Like if the only thing that you learned from me was strictly about basketball, then I cheated you is what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's just personally how I look at it and how I approach it. So the biggest joy I get is mostly after the kids graduate, just hearing from them. Like I had kids that hit me up on Twitter or something like that, be like, "Hey, Coach Lamb," and they'll say something that I told them that I about be done forgot about, in reference to college and how it is and stuff like that, and they'll be like, "Man, you were right," and this and that, and I've had kids that have messed up, you know, and didn't do what they wanted to do, and then gave me kind of one of those like, dang, I should have listened to, like, you were right, and I, no gratification from that, but like that's what I enjoy the most, to just hearing the kids' success stories. Like, I'm known, I'm the GPA checker. Like one of my former students messaged me yesterday and was like, "I'm surprised you hadn't asked for my GPA yet." Well, COVID-19 threw everything off, but yeah, I'm gonna ask what the GPA looking like, and then they had a tough semester, something like that. I'm gonna try to give them words of encouragement and try to, help them see the brighter side to the journey. Because hell, I've been there. I struggled. I was the struggle child when it came to school. Terrell flew up out of there. Sister got up out the mix. I was in the mix. But that's what I enjoy, man. Just seeing the growth in the kids, seeing them grow as individuals and succeeding. Like that's what I'm all about. Is seeing them succeed and trying to help them understand. Sometimes in life, or a lot of times in life, it's not gonna go how you plan, but it's all about how you react to it. Or what you're gonna do next. You can't weep and mope because the world don't stop. And so
absolutely,
I try to give them some game, but one of the things that I wanted to say that my students know, but like I got a lot of this from my mom. Like in my classroom, it'll be days to where I do not teach U.S. history. I scrap it, and like probably about 4 years ago, one of my students, he started calling me the knowledge king, and one is still in college, and he checks in like almost every week, every 2 weeks, and he still call me that. But it's because if a kid asks a question about college, I'll stop, boom, and now I'm addressing the whole class, and they haven't got they haven't wrapped their head around, for the most part, grants versus loans, what financial aid is, what credit hours are. Like they hear a cousin or somebody say, I'm taking 13 hours, I'm taking 15 hours. So I'll write it up on the board, got this math class, 3 hours, you got A&P plus the lab, 4 hours. And I explain it to them. I break down the days, the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and stuff like that. So I do that often in my classes. I try to, just teach them about stuff that they headed into, so they have understanding.
Let them see what's going on
right.
further ahead and stuff like that. And
right.
It's kind of, my dad, he had this saying when I was growing up. He said he always say, "On your best day, be better." No, I'm sorry. He would always say, "On your best day, I'm always better." And growing up, man, I never really understood. And now that I'm older, I just I remixed it, and I always try to tell my kids or players, on your best day, be better. So, like, even when you're doing your best, you probably still can do a little more, and go a little further and push yourself a little harder and things like that. So don't try to tell them, don't limit yourself to certain things, man, and just continue to expand. And it's great that you have teachers like yourself that's kind of trying to teach kids about college, man, because a lot of kids don't even believe in that they can go to college. So even with the inner city youth of Houston, where I'm at now, where I'm from, man, a lot of kids, they don't see college. They see high school and that's it, which is nothing wrong with that. You might find a trade that you like or whatever, but going to college, man, it was a great experience. And I can't, some of the people that I met in college, man, I would have never met if I didn't go. So if I didn't try. And so
that's one of the things that like, and I didn't get to do it this year because we ended early, but like I have a thing I do at the end of the year for my kids. I forgot what I call it, but if you plan on going to a 4-year school, I make you tell me what school, and then but they have to. It's like they can do a poster form, essay form, whatever. So you have to tell me what school. You got to look up and see how much that school costs. Then I want them to look up the dynamics of the school, like as far as how many Black people go here, right, blah blah blah, that graduation rate. I make them look up stuff because it's easy to sit up there and say I want to go to U of H and have no idea like what it's going to entail or what's there. So I make them look up stuff, and if they're into certain things, then I make them look up, what type of organization could you join. And then on the flip side, because all my students don't want to go to college, if you say you're going to go into, welding or something like that, I make them look up the dynamics of that job, who's paying the most in what area in Texas, if you're going to remain in Texas, and what school would you have to go to in order to get your certificate, and and how long would that take, and I make them look up stuff. And then I have some kids say they want to go to the military. Well, I backdoor with stuff for them too. Like, what do you need to score on the ASVAB? And most of them don't even know what it is. They just know they want to go to the military.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, what would your job be? Like, what would you want to do? How long would you enlist? Would you if you got deployed, would you mind going? Like, if they chose you for deployment, blah blah blah. So it's just I try to touch all fields when it comes to that with the kids. Try to relate to them, because everybody don't want to go to college, and that's in today's world. You don't necessarily have to,
Exactly.
But I want to try to help spark and help them formulate a plan, because one of the things that I have taken from coaching and brought to the classroom is that I didn't know, or I didn't pay attention to the fact that when I was in school, like, say for instance on Sports Wise, so I'm hooping, I'm not thinking about nobody in Washington, D.C. I'm not thinking about nobody in Louisiana. I'm not thinking about nobody in Nevada. I'm not thinking about nobody in Utah or Alaska, Australia.
The next city. Yeah, the next city.
Like, all I could see was who we were playing, the teams we were playing, the district. And so I bring that to them in the classroom form of, okay, you say you want to be this, but do you have any idea of how many other people say they want to be this? Like, how many other people from other countries that come over here for their education that's going to want the same job title as you, that you're going to have to outwork? You know what I'm saying? So I try to take that and put that into the classroom, as well as, tell my athletic kids, football, basketball, like, you say you want this D1 scholarship, but while you sitting here chilling, it's another cat in New York that's grinding. It's another kid in California that's living situation is terrible. They might not even have a bed to sleep on, and they live in sleep basketball because they know that's their way out. But you say you want the same thing as them, but they going over and beyond for it. You know what I'm saying? I try to tie those two when it comes to sports and education and a job title, period, because it's just going to come down to, I don't care if you want to be, an engineer or whatever, somebody else is going to want to be that too. So what's going to make somebody over, somebody else? It's going to have to be work ethic that's going to separate it,
Absolutely.
Customer service, how you treat people, and, stuff like that. So I just try to get them to see all of that.
Yeah, seeing the bigger picture. And so a couple more questions, man. It's just, I want to say, I know coronavirus hit, being educators and you being a coach. What has been your biggest hurdle, dealing with coronavirus? I know you guys were gearing up for off season, and you probably had plans for your off-season workouts and your off-season practices and stuff like that. So what's been the biggest problem or the biggest hurdle that you dealt with that?
Trying to get them to lock in mentally in the aspect of you're coming back at some point. And so whether it has to deal with school and athletics as it should, you can't sit on the couch for. We've been out of school since middle of March, April, May, going into June. Like you can't, and then you got July, August. Like you can't sit on the couch for months and not touch a ball, not work out, not read or do anything, and then expect to come back and it all be good.
It's not gonna work.
So the biggest hurdle is, you have 1, 2, 3, a few here that get it and try to stay constant with what they can do in these times and try to, try to get after it as much as they can, but whatever they have. Then you have some that's you're not doing anything. And so the frustrating part is like you can't make them. Like, I mean, I know some coaches, have live Zooms to where they make the kids log in and can see them. And bro, if I got to make you do all of that, like, nah, man, you don't want it.
Yeah.
It's going to show when we get back. So, if that's the approach you taking, then don't be mad at me when you bent over the trash can.
Because we gonna hit that line.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna hit that baseline at some point, man.
Baseline, yes sir.
Baseline is my favorite play. It's my favorite play, man. I just want people to understand, man. And I got one more question, and then we'll go to if the people that's watching it, they got some questions, we'll go to that. You being out in East Texas, man, not too many people know about it. Unless you're from Texas. Shout out to SFA and them boys and got banned. I don't know what they doing. I don't know what they doing out there, man.
Hurt my pride.
Hurt my pride, man. I don't know what they doing out there, man. But we're just gonna say, Angelina Juco is out there, and then got TJC and Kilgore and places like that, man. What's something that the rest of Texas should know about East Texas basketball?
Man, the thing about that is I was talking to, I think it was a parent the other day about it, and I've talked to several people about it. The thing about East Texas is it's known for football, and rightfully so. It's some machines that then came out of Longview, Lufkin, John Tyler, Carthage, Newton. Like it's some across the board. Like it's some straight hounds. You know what I'm saying? So football, is king in East Texas. But it's some kids that can play other sports that get looked over because they don't have that magnifying glass that football has. And so that's the thing about East Texas is it's just not football. It's sport. It's track. It's volleyball. It's basketball. Golf. But when it comes to certain sports, I'm not gonna say all. A lot of kids in East Texas get overlooked because, like for instance, AAU has taken over recruiting for basketball. Like it's to the point to where if you're not either in a major city or playing on one of the top AAU teams, it's hard for you to get a legit look, not even a scholarship, a legit look from a big D1. Because and I tell parents this all the time, we're the geographical disadvantage in Lufkin, being in the center pretty much of East Texas, and Dallas is 3 hours this way. Houston 2 hours this way, and your next biggest cities are Tyler and Longview, but they don't have like major AAU programs. They have some, but it's not like on the big scale market. So I've had kids, and you've had some of our players that have drove to Houston twice a week just to get a shot.
Absolutely.
Had one of my former boys, he would drive to Dallas twice a week. And he got a D2 scholarship to Hendrix College in Arkansas. But it's some athletes that get slept on in the area. just because they don't get that opportunity or they're not on that scale, because it's tough as hell for a parent to sit up here and work and then have to take off work early, or fly right from work to pick you up from school to take you to Houston, 2-hour drive. You got hour and a half, 2-hour practice. You're done. It's almost 9 o'clock. Now you got to hop back on the road, drive 2 hours again. To get back home. You get back home 11:30. You know what I'm saying? If you stop and eat midnight, and like that's tough. Then you can making that commitment, at least twice a week. And it's tough for our kids out here.
That's just for practice, and you're not including the tournament schedule and stuff like that. And that was the hardest thing for us when I played at SFA, getting bigger schools to come in, because it was too much travel. You either had to fly to Houston or you had to fly to Dallas, and then you're driving 2+ hours to get just to Nacogdoches, man. And shout out to Nac, man. You can't. It's different out there, but just
people in Nac still got them.
Crazy schedule, man. And so it is what it is, man. I've asked my questions, and I hope the people got what they wanted. And like I said, man, I've been knowing this guy for 14 years now, and a good friend of mine, and I'm so proud of what he's doing out there at Lufkin.
Appreciate it.
For anybody that's still in here, if you got any questions, now is the time. And so,
Sadale. Let me see who over here on the comments. I see you, Juice Meister, Miss Dukes. Appreciate y'all, man, for everything. Choke, I see you, baby. Said Big Bang.
I ain't been checked in, man.
The package.
the original package, man. Boy, don't know.
You know what's funny? That I'm so mild mannered now. A lot of except for when I'm coaching, I'm frowned up. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? But like I'm so mild mannered now. A lot of people be like, I can't even picture you getting mad. Like I wouldn't take you serious. But y'all know
man. They don't know, man. What lunch money out there, man. So,
we take all of that.
Where's lunch money at, man?
Man, check in, give me a block, go out.
Man, I'm telling you, man. Out there telling people I wanted Mark.
Man.
Nipsey you in and Nipsey you out. Man, let me say that while I got it on my mind, man. We were the kings of coming up with nicknames, man, for people like Accessories and the Crooked.
Yeah.
Same.
And who else we had up there? Me and Terrell Bank had one from TJC, called it was Silky Johnson. Big Popular in the Bigs.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Did you have any crazy nicknames for your players this year?
Yes,
I know you did. I know you did.
It is so bad to where they be asking me to give them a nickname. I'll be like, man, it just got to flow, like
it's a gift.
Yeah. They be like, man, you got your nickname from Bino. Oh, it's Stamp. It's Stamp. But yeah, I made up one of my seniors. I gave her a middle name. Her name is, and that's her mom that commented right there. That's on the screen. Her name is Deja or Jadeja. And I gave her the middle name Leanne. So I call her Leanne. And this is how bad it got with her, because she's attached to me on the hip. So she was my point guard. So we in the playoff game, and it's tight. And it was getting towards the end, and we were up by like 5. No, we were up by like either 2 or 3, and she went to the free throw line. And so I'm trying to get her attention. I'm on the sideline. I can yell loud. So I know that one thing I tell them, don't nobody just yell and sound like me, because I got that country twang on the end anyway, and I'm loud. They know my voice. So she at the free throw line. She's literally right across from me. She's not down at the far end. She's right across from me. So I'm Deja. and she got her hands on her knees looking at the ref, waiting on him to give the ball. Deja, she still ain't looked. Leanne, she just turned and looked. I looked at him like,
oh man.
I looked at the rest of the team. I say, well, I guess you know.
Yeah, Leanne is what. Hey,
Yeah,
once
man.
you get a nickname, man, it ain't no escaping, man. Like,
Yeah,
it is what it is. Man.
I got another senior. Her nickname is Annie, because she's like the whole soul of the team. So she Annie. Then I got the other senior, because I only had 3. Her name is Menace. And then probably my favorite one, the one I came up with, is my baby that got hurt. That's my leading scorer that couldn't play. Her nickname is Snacks, because she got to have her snacks. We could be in the middle of practice, and she's gonna run into her bag and get something out of it and be chewing. How much she needs to get her energy up. I'm like, oh,
hey, we ain't got time for all that, man.
Look,
I hear run his plate.
She had a backpack full of snacks. I'd be like, what you got today, Snacks? She keep them. She could be running up and down the court like the Flash.
That's what's up, man. So before we get out of here, I don't think nobody have any questions, man. I'm gonna do some rapid fire, questions, I guess you can say. Word association. I'm gonna say a word, and you whatever the first word that comes to your mind, you say it. So the very first one is Kobe.
Greatness.
Jordan.
GOAT.
Huntsville.
Hillside, Prison City, Texas. I couldn't keep it to one word. You know what I'm talking about? Prison City, Texas.
Oh man. Houston.
Woo, screwed up, baby.
Michael Mott.
Legend. Best friend.
Legend, man.
Loyalty.
Yes, sir. That's what it is. Sam Houston.
Stinks.
Dude.
Spam University. Since they changed their little symbols. SA. Shithole University. Whatever I can give them, I'm going
that's what's up. Last one, man. Stephen F. Austin.
Lumberjacks, man. I don't know. We home of the cheaters right now. They on our
home of the cheaters, man. They about to give us blues for the next 3-4 years, man. It is what it is.
Crazy thing about it is the ones that really jumped it off that's at fault is gone.
They gone, yeah. They gone, yeah. I read all into it, man. It is what it is. We'll be back.
Yeah.
So, man, I just want to thank you, man, for doing this, man. I know I called you up, and you kind of like me. We both background type dudes and not in the spotlight. And for those that know me, man, they know this is big for me, man. I hate being in front of the camera. So, man, I thank you, man, for your time, man. I tell my players all the time is something that you can't get back. So appreciate those that give it to them and stuff like that. So whatever you got to say to the people, man, let them know.
Man, I appreciate you having me on, man. That's what it's all about, is us helping each other, trying to push each other, forward in our endeavors and what we got going on. So I always support you. And whatever you need, just let me know, man. I appreciate everybody that's, if you're still on here, or if you was on here, Miss Dukes, I appreciate you. And that's what it is. I thank everybody for everything.
Already. So, like I said earlier, man, this is Between the Game Sports, man, with Coach Sadale Lamb, man. We out, man. Y'all be easy. Peace.